Shalom Aleichem, blessed souls, is Dhamma Talk from Irie Heights, Crown Heights. Chaf Aleph Kislev, the 21st of Kislev, in the Hebrew calendar year, 5,770 years, shining into this glorious creation, soul revelation for each and every nation to be in unity, unification. I'd like to show you now a teaching from the website of Galenai, from Rav Ginsburg, Yitzhak Ginsburg of Kfar Chabad, Israel. And just that you should know that I am reading from teaching that is called The Two Trees in the Garden of Eden, as we continue in our series Man and Woman, Woman and Man, Part 3. And to learn more from teachings like this from Ginsburg, which I hardly recommend to everyone, please go to www.inner.org. Going further into the teaching, let's start with the teaching of Ginsburg, The Two Trees in the Garden of Eden. The two trees in Gan Eden. Relating to a good marriage, Rav Ginsburg begins. This matter is dependent on the abandonment of self-centeredness, also known as egocentricity, which is alluded to in the passage immediately preceding the description of the creation of woman, Isha. To see for yourself, please go to the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 9, and also verses 16 to 18, Sefer Bereshit, Perek Bet, Posek Tes, וגם פסוקים תז זין, יוד זין, Chai. And it's written, and the Almighty made grow out of the ground every tree pleasant to sight and good to eat, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the Almighty commanded Adam, saying, You may eat from all the trees of the garden, but do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For on the day in which you eat of it, you shall surely die. And the Almighty said, It is not good for man to be alone. I shall make him a helpmate. So Ginsburg continues to bring out the inner dimension of these verses, blessed souls, discussing how evil can take root in man when he focuses on himself and his own desires rather than on the Almighty and His desires for the creation. Or on a deeper level, when he considers himself independent or separate from the Almighty. When so oriented or configured, this person evaluates all experience only in terms of his own subjective and therefore limited sense of good. In the Torah Truth Teachings of Kabbalah and Chassidut, it is explained that good tainted by selfishness is represented by the tree of knowledge of good and evil, while true unadulterated good is represented by the tree of life. By commanding Adam, not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Almighty was warning original man not to mix good and evil by choosing the path of self-centeredness and self-orientation. Eating the forbidden fruit caused man's psyche to become overtly self-conscious and egocentric. The sensation of good is no longer pure and divine, but a mixture of good and unfortunately evil. He considers something good only for the self-gratifying. If this attitude is left unchecked and unrectified, the evil will eventually swallow up the good, as we learn in the dreams of Pharaoh. In Genesis 41, verses 1 through 7, Sefer Bereshit, Perek Mem Aleph, Psukim Aleph Ad Zayin. One's appreciation of good and even belief that anything truly be good will evaporate. This in turn will engender a feeling of bitterness toward life as one comes to blame others for life's disappointments and suffering. Having thus placed the cause of his suffering outside his sphere of influence, a person views himself as a helpless victim of circumstance and malevolence. The two states of consciousness symbolized by the two trees are primarily expressed in the way man relates to woman. in forbidding Adam to eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Almighty was teaching him how to relate his soon-to-be created wife, as if to say, as Rabbi Ginsburg elaborates, do not mix egocentric lust and desire for self-gratification, the experience of true and unadulterated good. In the entire narrative of creation, solely by the creation of woman is the only creative act described as righting an inferior situation, meaning the very creation of woman made a tikkun for man, a rectification, and therefore a rectification for all of the creation. Furthermore, the previous situation is not described simply as bad, but as not good, implying that the preceding state apparently appeared to be good, but for Adam to be alone, that was not a good state to be. So in order to achieve the truly good state, the Almighty had to create woman. In this context, not good is the incorporation into man's psyche of relative, apparent good. This apparent good is man's existential state, and self-awareness, so to speak, of being alone, that is to say, egocentric and solely concerned with himself. And therefore, a husband, a male partner to a female partner with this orientation, if they are thinking in that way, may we all be spared from this type of lower level of awareness. So a male partner coupled with a female partner with this type of orientation is feeding on the tree of knowledge of good and evil, unless he reorients himself to true life and goodness. Otherwise, if he lives an egocentric life, he will experience tasting from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It says in the verse, on that day you will eat of it, you shall surely die. That is to say, eventually, that man, fed by lack of awareness, being fed by egocentrical perceptions, and unfortunately they might even become meditations, will eventually say of the woman who is the flesh of his flesh, that I find a woman bitter than death. On the other hand, a man who seeks to live a life that is not egocentrical, and on the positive, concerned with not just himself, but even more so concerned with the welfare of his life partner, his wife, and their children, and their families, her side, his side, their particular community, and hopefully beyond that, shall surely find that the woman he found as a life partner to be the ultimate finding of good on the human experience level, which will help him and her truly bond together as Ish and Isha, as the Yud from the Hebrew word Ish, Aleph, Yud, and Shin. Take out the Yud, that's Ish. And take out the Hey of Isha, which is Aleph, Shin, Hey. They will form the first two divine letters to make a divine name of the Most High, who is the source of that inner love which is rooted in his essence, which hopefully we of Israel will internalize and share, not just ourselves as a nation, but with all nations, as we all hopefully are preparing for the imminent and speedy revelation of Mashiach Tzidkenu, our righteous Mashiach, who will truly reveal to us Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life, with the inner dimensions of Torah, Adar Chinom, Adar Shalom, in a pleasant and peaceful way. Sababa, rejoice, Ahav Echad, one love, Begorel Echad, in one destiny, Adar Chinom, Adar Shalom, in a pleasant and peaceful way, Ofen Nitzchi, in an eternal way.